They talk all the crazy stuff about me going up and having a tough time, but he went up in weight and lost. That's the difference. I went up weight and won. It's all respect over here, and if he do decide to come my way and me and him get in the ring, then it'll be an electrifying fight.
Terence Crawford is ready to face Canelo Alvarez and has sent a quiet but powerful warning. While Canelo won't fight until September, Crawford has already started training with intense focus for the potential match. Many boxing experts see Crawford's weight class as his biggest disadvantage in the fight. However, the super welterweight champion just made a shocking revelation: his weight isn't as low as people think. Known for his precision and technical skill, Crawford has surprised the boxing world by revealing he is much heavier than expected ahead of his highly anticipated fight against Canelo Alvarez.
It won't be like any other fight that he's fought recently, and it'd be a well-fought fight.
The undisputed champion in two divisions, Terence Crawford, recently revealed on social media that he currently weighs 186 pounds, sparking widespread discussion among boxing fans. Set to face Canelo Alvarez in September at super middleweight, 168 pounds, Crawford has shown incredible versatility, having won world titles in lightweight, super lightweight, and welterweight. However, moving up two weight classes to challenge a powerhouse like Canelo is an entirely new test in his career. His weight revelation has triggered mixed reactions. Some experts see it as a smart strategy to match Canelo's strength, while others worry it could slow down Crawford, whose speed and agility have been key to his success. Despite the debate, Crawford remains confident. In a video posted on social media, he said, "What's up, y'all? I'm looking forward to being undisputed in September. Let's get it. It's work time." As Crawford trains for the big fight, Canelo will first face William Skull in May. William Skull holds the IBF super middleweight title, the last piece of the undisputed puzzle that Canelo lost in July after refusing to fight him. If Canelo beats Skull, he will once again unify all four belts in the division, setting up an undisputed showdown against Terence Crawford. This potential fight would be one of the most anticipated in modern boxing history, featuring two of the sport's top pound-for-pound fighters battling for ultimate supremacy. A clash between Crawford and Canelo could reshape the boxing world, as both have dominated their respective divisions. Now, they are on a collision course to determine the true pound-for-pound.
He went up and lost. So let's not do that, Canelo.
With Terence Crawford's recent weight revelation, he has gained more support from professionals who had previously doubted him. Speaking to Fight Hype, Artur Beterbiev shared his thoughts on Crawford's chances against Canelo. While many believe the weight jump might be too much for Crawford, the Russian sees it as a 50-50 fight. "I'm not really a big fan of boxing, but this fight I will watch. I have a favorite between them, but we'll see. It's an interesting fight, a 50-50 fight," Beterbiev said. Beterbiev has previously praised Crawford as the best pound-for-pound fighter in the world, leading many to believe that Crawford is the favorite in his eyes.
Fight for both of us, I believe.
Any doubt in your mind that you beat him?
Of course I beat him. It ain't no doubt in my mind that I won't beat anybody else.
Crawford, who has won all 41 of his professional fights, became a four-weight world champion last August when he defeated WBA light middleweight champion Israel Madrimov. However, his performance in that fight didn't seem as dominant as his previous ones. There's no doubt that facing Canelo will be the toughest challenge of the 37-year-old's career. Crawford has already claimed undisputed championships at super lightweight and welterweight, but stepping up to fight Canelo is a whole new test. Canelo, on the other hand, became the undisputed super middleweight champion in 2021 with his victory over Caleb Plant. Since then, he has successfully defended his crown 4 times, including wins over Gennady Golovkin and Jermell Charlo.
Ask you about another fight that's being reported to happen between Canelo and Terence Crawford. What do you think of that fight?
I'm not a real fan of boxing, but this fight...
Canelo was stripped of his IBF title last summer after choosing to fight Edgar Berlanga instead of his mandatory challenger, William Skull. However, he will have a chance to reclaim the belt when he faces Skull in May, just months before his potential fight with Crawford. Meanwhile, Artur Beterbiev is set to rematch former Canelo opponent Dmitry Bivol later this month. Jaron Boots Ennis, who has long pursued a fight with Terence Crawford, will now have to watch as Crawford takes on Canelo instead. Ennis, a rising star and the current IBF welterweight champion, emerged after Crawford became the undisputed champion at 147 pounds by defeating Errol Spence in July 2023.
I'm going to set the trap. He's going to want to counter me. And so I'm going to counter his counter. I don't want to.
With Crawford's last fight, a world title victory at 154 pounds over Israel Madrimov, it seems the 37-year-old has moved on from the welterweight division for good. He has long set his sights on jumping up in weight to challenge undisputed super middleweight champion Canelo Alvarez, and last week, the fight was officially locked in for September. Speaking to YSM Sports Media, Jaron Ennis couldn't pick a winner, giving Crawford just as much of a chance as Canelo. It's a good fight, a 50-50 fight, and I guess it's the fight everybody wants to see.
It's a good fight, a 50-50 fight, and I guess it's a fight that everybody wants to see, so, it's a good fight.
When asked about the challenge Crawford faces by moving up in weight, Ennis acknowledged the difficulty. It's going to be a little difficult. He'll have to put on an extra 14 pounds, so he could be slower. You've got to add more weight and muscle, so it's harder, but we'll see on fight night. Next, he was asked what Crawford would need to do to win. Having already said it would be a tough night for Bud, he gave his advice. Be smart, take his time, box and move. Don't sit there and let him drop bombs on him. Finally, he shared his thoughts on how Canelo could secure victory.
How difficult is it to make that jump from, he only had one fight at 54, so like 147, 154 to 168 pounds?
You said how difficult is it?
Yeah.
Ennis believes Canelo's best strategy will be to apply constant pressure and control the fight. I feel like Canelo will be pressing, using everything behind the jab, catching Crawford when he tries to pull back, cutting off the ring, things like that. He has to bully the smaller guy, not let him dictate anything, and show him this is his weight class. Meanwhile, Crawford has revealed that he currently weighs 186 pounds, well above the 168 pounds super middleweight limit. This is a significant jump for a fighter who once held titles as low as 135 pounds in the lightweight division. Former welterweight champion Keith Thurman offered a more balanced take on the fight. While he acknowledged Canelo's dominance, he didn't rule out Crawford's chances of pulling off an upset.
I'm pretty sure it's going to be a little difficult because what are you going to have to put on, like an extra 14 pounds, so he might be a little slower, or who knows, he could be faster, I don't know.
Thurman acknowledged Crawford's speed and footwork as potential challenges for Canelo but emphasized the Mexican champion's ability to adapt. Canelo can be slow at times, and Crawford's speed and movement could give him trouble. But let's not forget, Canelo is a master at cutting off the ring and landing those body shots, Thurman said. Meanwhile, rising welterweight star Jaron Ennis raised doubts about Crawford's ability to compete at super middleweight, delivering a blunt assessment. Crawford is a phenomenal fighter, but he's not built for 168 pounds. Canelo is too big, too strong, and too experienced at that weight, Ennis stated. You're going to need to run.
Possible for my boy Crawford. But it's one of those things where he really wants to win against Canelo.
Elite trainers Teddy Atlas and Freddie Roach also weighed in on the fight, offering contrasting perspectives. Atlas, known for his analytical approach, expressed skepticism about Crawford's chances. Crawford is one of the most skilled fighters I've ever seen, but this is a bridge too far. Canelo's physicality and experience at this weight class make him the favorite. It's a tough ask for Crawford to jump up 2 divisions and win, Atlas said. Freddie Roach, however, had a more optimistic view. Crawford's versatility and fight IQ are second to none. If anyone can figure out a way to beat Canelo at 168, it's him. But he'll need a perfect game plan and flawless execution, Roach noted.
You're going to need to run uphill. You're going to need to train in high altitude. You're going to need to do every little thing that gives you that,
For Canelo, a win would further cement his status as one of the greatest boxers of his generation. For Crawford, a victory would make him a three-division undisputed champion and strengthen his case as the best pound-for-pound fighter of all time. This fight is about more than just titles, it's about legacy, defining careers, and securing a place in boxing history. As the countdown begins, both fighters are expected to undergo intense training camps in preparation for what could be one of the most significant fights of their careers.
No, he hasn't been back yet, Spence. He may have psychologically, physically ruined him, but he has done everything asked of him, and he's done.
Canelo is expected to face IBF champion William Skull in May as he looks to regain the undisputed super middleweight crown ahead of his showdown with Crawford. Meanwhile, Crawford, who last fought in August 2024, may take a tune-up fight to adjust to the higher weight class. The Canelo Alvarez vs Terence Crawford fight is more than just a boxing match, it's a global spectacle that will captivate fans around the world.
In a superb way. It's not that he's just won. I look at how people win. How versatile are they? How mentally together are they? What happens when they're tested? What happens when they have to make an adjustment? I look at all those things.
While experts are divided on the outcome, one thing is certain, Canelo vs Crawford will be remembered as a defining moment in boxing history. Meanwhile, rising lightweight prospect Keyshawn Davis is preparing for the biggest fight of his career. On February 14th, Davis will face Ukrainian Denis Berinchik for the WBO lightweight title, marking his first-ever title bout. All eyes are on the young star as he looks to make his mark in the division.
When they can't depend on power. What else do they have to depend on? I look at everything, their technique, their defense, their offense.
During his media workout, surrounded by cameras and microphones, Keyshawn Davis was ready to discuss his upcoming clash. However, the conversation quickly shifted to another mega fight, Canelo Alvarez vs Terence Crawford. As a fighter who also trains under Crawford's longtime coach, Brian Bomac McIntyre, Davis's take on the fight sparked quite a reaction. Standing beside him during the interview was Bernie Davis, also known as Bernie the Boxer, a former pro fighter who now trains with their camp. At first, the conversation was lighthearted, but Davis's response to the question about the September fight in Las Vegas left fans scratching their heads.
Stop. I'm definitely waiting for that time because as soon as they release whenever they fight, I'm definitely going to be in camp with them. First of all, I'm going to be in camp with them. I'll probably be fighting.
The interviewer, likely aware of the stakes behind such a bold opinion, pressed further. That's what's on the line with this fight, right? Canelo versus Terence, whose era is it at this point? Before Davis could respond, Bernie Davis stepped in with his take. I think Canelo had his time. It's just going to be our time, he said with a smile. Keyshawn, showing support for his friend and training partner, added, for sure, for sure. Fans, never ones to shy away from heated debates in the boxing world, quickly reacted. While some were confident in Crawford's chances, others were far less convinced, and that's when the criticism started pouring in.
Around the same time, so I just want to know how I'm going to schedule my things around his stuff because I definitely want to be there supporting my teammate, man, my brother at the end of the day. You know what I'm saying? I definitely.
One user sarcastically posted, Canelo is going to pass the torch to a 37-year-old. While age doesn't automatically diminish a fighter's ability, many fans pointed out that Canelo Alvarez is still at the peak of his career. After all, boasting a the 2nd of February, 62 record is no easy feat. Some fans were even more blunt, with one calling Keyshawn's take stupidity level 1000. This reaction likely comes from Canelo's unmatched resume. He became the first undisputed super middleweight champion and has defeated legends across multiple weight classes. One of the harshest criticisms came from a fan who questioned Crawford's power, arguing that he had yet to show the same knockout ability as Canelo.
Hopefully they fight out here in Vegas. That would be so crazy. They fight out here in Vegas. They need to fight out here in Vegas. There's no other place where they should fight at the end of the day. You know what I'm saying? So hopefully they fight here in Vegas, man. I just can't wait till they release the...
One fan dismissed the idea of Canelo passing the torch to Crawford, saying, "Canelo ain't passing the torch to a fighter who couldn't hurt a guy with 10 fights or even drop him." Canelo dropped Munguia and Berlanga. The user highlighted Canelo's victories over Jamie Munguia for the IBF, WBC, and WBO super middleweight titles and Edgar Berlanga for the WBC and WBO belts, further proving Canelo's dominance. However, it's important to note that Terence Crawford also boasts an impressive record of 41-0, with 31 KOs, and has been on a streak of knockout victories in recent years. Another fan took a different jab, but this time at Keyshawn Davis, commenting, "Pass the torch. Bro, you gotta work on defense, you're getting hit too much in the head." This remark struck a nerve, as many pointed out that Davis has yet to prove himself at the same level as Canelo Alvarez and even questioned his ability to compete at the highest stage.
His skill, his wisdom, you know what I'm saying? And just be smarter there, man. God willing, of course, he's going to come out and get the victory, man. And both guys can go home, you know.
That said, the 25-year-old Keyshawn Davis is still in the early stages of his professional career, meaning he has plenty of time to refine his defensive skills. With a seasoned coach like Brian Bomac McIntyre in his corner, his defense could improve significantly. However, the criticism didn't stop there. Some fans took it a step further, making personal jabs at Davis, with one user joking, "Keyshawn looks like he could have $1 million and still stink. Ouch." While harsh, these types of comments often stem from broader frustrations fans may have with a fighter's public persona rather than their actual skills. Finally, fans turned their attention back to Terence Crawford, bringing up his fight against Israel Madrimov and questioning his chances against Canelo. What makes him think he's going to beat Canelo when he was struggling against Madrimov? One fan asked, adding to the growing debate over whether Crawford can handle the jump to 168 pounds.
The announcement for sure.
How difficult of a fight is that for Bud, and what does Bud have to do to win that fight?
He just got to be smart. He got to be smart, and I feel like he just got to beat Canelo to the punches, you know what I'm saying?
The comparison to Terence Crawford's struggles against former contender Israel Madrimov was a major blow to his credibility. While the 4-division champion won the fight by unanimous decision, it was a tough battle, raising doubts about how he would handle an even bigger challenge in Canelo Alvarez. Canelo, the undisputed super middleweight champion, had previously dismissed Crawford's call-out. However, Saudi Arabia's Turki Al-Sheikh seems to have played a key role in getting the fight made. Speaking in late 2023, veteran promoter Bob Arum told Fight Hub TV that he gave his former fighter, Crawford, no chance against Canelo due to the massive weight gap, further fueling the debate over whether Bud can truly compete at 168 pounds. Interview 22. "I think Canelo wipes the floor with him. I love Crawford. I told you when Crawford was fighting Spence that he would beat the hell out of him. But Canelo is a different proposition. It's an interesting fight, but I think there's only one winner." Veteran promoter Bob Arum didn't hold back in his initial assessment, believing that Canelo's size, power, and experience at 168 pounds would be too much for Crawford to handle. He argued that while Crawford is an elite fighter, he likely won't be able to hurt Canelo, whereas Canelo can hurt Crawford. However, in a more recent interview with Fight Hype, Arum softened his stance, admitting that despite the 14-pound weight jump, he can't count Crawford
in this
out.
era. No major injuries and stuff like that at the end of the day. But I know Bud is gonna go in there and get the victory for sure.
Now, I'm sure you're not looking past Dennis Berinchik, obviously a very capable fighter, but
I wouldn't count Crawford out in any fight because he has a unique talent. He's a great boxer-puncher and completely ambidextrous, which drives his opponents crazy. They train for a right-hand fighter and end up facing a southpaw. That's exactly what happened to Errol Spence. Arum highlighted Crawford's versatility and ring IQ as major weapons, comparing his potential fight with Canelo to Manny Pacquiao's shocking win over Oscar de la Hoya. Crawford's ability to switch stances seamlessly has given him a significant edge in past fights, and Arum believes it could be a factor against Canelo as well. Meanwhile, since his one-sided loss to Crawford last year, Errol Spence Jr. has been inactive for over a year. A rumored fight against Sebastian Fundora is reportedly in the works for later this year, but nothing has been finalized yet.
Hope it's not in Saudi, because I hate getting on long-ass flights. That's just me personally. I hope it's out here in Vegas. Bring that shit to Allegiant Stadium, man. Yeah.
Is that the biggest fight in boxing?
Regardless, Errol Spence Jr. had the option to activate his rematch clause with Terence Crawford but chose not to. Whether it's because he needs more time to prepare or has lost hope, one thing is clear: Spence knows just how formidable Crawford is. As for the upcoming Crawford vs. Canelo showdown, Shakur Stevenson believes Crawford will not only win but could make it an easy fight. The WBC lightweight champion has been vocal about this opinion for years, repeatedly stating that Crawford has the skills, speed, and ring IQ to outclass Canelo.
Hell yeah! Yes! What's bigger than that? Like, for real. Like, hell yeah, son. That's the biggest fight in boxing, for sure. For sure.
Tell me, when you hear everyone talk about the fight, the match.
Like Terence Crawford, the WBA light middleweight champion has committed to gaining 14 pounds to compete in what could be the biggest payday of his career. When asked if he believes Crawford will win, Shakur Stevenson didn't hesitate. "I've been saying this for years now. I was probably the first one to say it, even before Terence himself. I always thought Crawford's style matches up well against Canelo. I think he beats him," Stevenson told TalkSport Boxing. While Stevenson makes it sound like Crawford will stand toe-to-toe with Canelo, that seems unlikely given Crawford's typical strategy. Against powerful punchers, Crawford tends to box smart, use angles, and avoid unnecessary exchanges, making it more likely that he will try to outmaneuver Canelo rather than trade punches.
What's the biggest thing that you disagree with people on?
How much they count Terence out?
What's the thing that you hear the most? Oh, if Canelo hits him clean.
Crawford typically relies on movement, a sharp jab, and quick in and out attacks rather than staying stationary or engaging in relentless exchanges. His aggressive approach against Errol Spence was more of an exception, largely because Spence wasn't at his best following his car accident. Boxing analyst Chris Mannix weighed in on Crawford's move up in weight, saying, "You've got to be very careful if you're going to take a fight above 160 pounds because it's a whole new weight range." On his YouTube channel, Mannix suggested that it's unlikely Crawford will risk a tune-up fight at super middleweight before facing Canelo Alvarez in September. Taking on a bigger opponent before the big fight could be too risky, and Crawford may choose to focus solely on preparing for Canelo instead.
It could happen. I mean, why not? If Crawford want to challenge himself to be great, let him try to be great, you know, so, you know what I'm saying, I'm with it. So.
If Crawford does take a fight in the super middleweight range, it would likely be at a catchweight, possibly around 163 or 164 pounds, against a middleweight moving up. And that's all for now. For the best boxing news, updates, and analysis, be sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel and turn on notifications so you never miss out on our latest content. Until next time, peace out. Boxing Glove.
It's mentally as strong as Terence Crawford, so I can't wait to watch it.
Your gym's an exciting gym. You all bounce off each other. You got a lot of